All right, welcome to another edition of Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. I am a DJ Impact, and I got Simon Street here with me, and we're excited because we have another panel. You know, Simon Street. Before I get going, I know you see the fire in the background. Apparently, I'm not at the studio where I'm normally at. I don't have my microphone. I don't have my board. I don't have anything, man. But I'm gonna make everything work tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Because I was a little concerned, man, because like you was about to, start singing some I'll Be Sure or something like that, or like some Jodeci. It's gonna be a whole nother type of panel.
That's right. Awesome. All right, let me introduce our panel that we have for us this evening. I'm very excited. We finally got ourselves our first African American woman on the show, Queen Strella, and she represents out there the FSW Knox Pro versus Super Beats. She's doing her thing out there. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
No doubt. Just exciting as he is the blue collar wrestling heavyweight champion. How you doing, boss?
2 years. How you doing, man?
2 years.
2 years. I've been the heavyweight champion there.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hey,
Awesome. Next, we got JDX with us. Now, he is a graduate of the Academy and the Nightmare Factory, but he's wrestled also on AEW Dark, and he's with us, hanging with us tonight. How you doing, JDX?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in there. And tonight, the D in Justin D. Xavier actually stands for Don't You Dare Listen to Any Other Podcast Other Than the Vegas Bad Boys. I'm doing all right. I'm chilling here in the closet. This is my first time doing a podcast here in my closet. My living room is preoccupied. That's typically where I do my podcast, but
okay,
try something new.
Sometimes the closet is a safe place,
Unless you are Kelly.
And next we got with us Mr. Malik. Now he's part of Culture Inc. He's been the tag champ for Generation Champion Wrestling and Booker T's Reality Wrestling with Culture Inc. member Eli Knight. He's also wrestled for CZW Platinum, and also he's a Platinum Weight Champion, the Go Wrestle Speeding Champion as well, and he's also wrestled on AEW Dark. How you doing, Malik?
Good. How's it going?
Good, man. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're talking about the state of African Americans with professional wrestling. This is our third episode. If you heard our other two, you know how this goes. You may hear some of the same questions. You may hear different questions. You're definitely going to get a different take because, like I say, now we have Queen Strella with us, and we can't wait to get her thoughts on some things. So with that, Simon Street, I'm going to let you, as always, kick off the first question for our panel, and we'll go from there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Going to go ahead and shoot the first question, and we'll kind of go in a series of order to kick off this one question. The question, as you see for the people watching at home, the state of African Americans in professional wrestling today. For each one of you panelists, what do you think? Do you think that where we have come thus far, whether it be major promotions or whether it be in the indie circuit from state to state, do you feel that we have gained some ground in our perspective, the way things are being booked, the different spots that maybe have been filled in, whether it be behind the camera, maybe in a little bit of creative? Do you feel that we have captured some ground to provide a better representation of the African-American wrestler in America or in pro wrestling today? So I'm going to go ahead and shoot with you, Strella, since you are the lady in the group. Ladies go first. Ladies go first. So we're going to hit you up first.
I think that the current state for people that look like me in professional wrestling, I think that it's evolved, but I definitely think that it could get better, especially like on the indie circuit, like showcasing more Black talent than what we have now. Like we have some pretty good talented Black wrestlers out there and Black women that are killing it on the indies, but there's so much more that people haven't seen. Like there's so many others that people haven't seen. And like we have WWE, we got Bianca Belair, who's like skyrocketed. And then we have Naomi as well. And I think that me personally, I don't like how they're booking Naomi. And it kind of like I don't want to make it a complexion thing, but like I think that Naomi's skin complexion is what's I don't want to say keeping her back, but is what is putting a hold on her, because as anyone knows, like darker complected Black people don't get as much attention as someone who's lighter, you know. And I just think that with Naomi's talent and like her athleticism, like she should be way more at the top than where she is now.
For sure.
But there's definitely a lot more to be seen within the Black community, especially like on indies. And that was my take.
So we'll go ahead and pass that same question over to Malik, if you wouldn't mind answering the same posed question.
Okay. To hop on what she was saying as well. I mean, it definitely has evolved, but definitely needs a lot of work as well still. Representation in the past few years definitely has grown exponentially with us. And I mean, I can keep going and going, but to be honest with you, she basically covered our bases for me. So
I got you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
You know, I'm assuming that most of you guys probably have watched wrestling since you were a kid. I guess I can kind of put an age on myself. When I started watching right when the hype of Hulk Hogan in the late 80s. And you know, don't ask me now if I'm a Hogan fan, but I'm just saying back in the day when I was a kid, you know, I was definitely a Hogan fan. But at the time, you know, it was very difficult to see representation of myself, you know, outside of maybe Kamala or Coco Beware. And then when we have them, we didn't necessarily have any champions at all. Now, as we going through the 80s and through the 90s, you know, finally we do get the Rock who comes through there, but there seems to be this kind of a at least up to I guess 2018, if you want to stay about there has just not been a lot of champions that we've seen come through, both men and women, from all promotions. That's not saying we haven't had any, but we haven't seen a lot. Where is the struggle in trying to find the Black champion through professional wrestling? Where do you think that is? I'm gonna start over with you, JDX. What do you see? What do you see when you see that there's and again, I know as of recently there seems to be a little bit, especially coming better with WWE within the last few years. Still some improvement I think needs to be made. Yeah. AEW I still think is lost when it comes to that. That's just my take. But what do you feel about the aspect of not seeing a lot of that through the time of the height of pro wrestling?
So that's a very touchy subject for me. Not just because of the complexion of my skin color, but like I oftentimes struggle with that question. I ask myself that question often. I'm like, is it a talent thing? Because I'll keep it a buck. I'll keep it a Giannis, as I like to say.
Please
as
do.
Corny as that is. There are some guys like that are Black that I don't like think have like the same like skill set as certain other wrestlers that aren't of color. I'll just keep it a buck. Like there are some like former WWE champions that I've seen that I wasn't personally that into. Not to say that they're not talented, because there's definitely been champions in the past that weren't of color that I wasn't into. So I don't always try to make it like a color thing. I try to think about it like as a talent thing. If I'm keeping it a buck, like I said, I think that people that aren't of color, I think they get more leeway with like the ability to not talk You know what I mean? They don't have to be the most charismatic, but when you're black, like, damn it, you got to be charismatic. You got to be able to work. Like, you got to have it all. You know what I mean? You got to have like what they call, like, you got to be like a 5-tool player, basically. You got to be like the Booker T's of the world, you know, The Rock, depending on where you fall on that line. You know what I mean? You know, that's up for debate whether or not he's, you know, black or whatever the case. But yeah, I feel like you got to be able to do it all. Whereas, like, you know, if you're white, you know, you could be lacking in certain departments. So
I don't, you know, just to go back what you just said, why is that a debate? Is The Rock black? His father is black, is right? Am I confused on that? Was Rocky Johnson not a black man?
Absolutely.
Nah.
I mean,
let me jump in on that one if it's okay. When you're done, Jay.
I'll probably take it back off if nobody else can.
Because I'll be real with you. I've been wanting to say it because real talk. I've been wanting to say it because at the end of the day, it's all depending on what you represent. So for me, I'm from Louisiana, right? In Louisiana, I'm considered what's Creole, right? And there's a whole bunch of mixture in there, right? But I represent myself as a black man. You know, everybody in my family is black. If you get to know me, you're going to know, okay, this brother is black. Now, I have some relatives that are Creole that chose a different type of culture, preset. And that's just how they carry themselves and bless their heart for that. I'm not saying that the Rock ain't black. I ain't got his genomes. I ain't test him on Ancestry.com and nothing like that. But I will tell you, in the WWE, they up until recently and almost recently this month, because the last 2 weeks in WWE, they pushing extra hard on Rocky Johnson on the promo vids. They was pushing extra hard on the Maivia trilogy, and rightfully so to a certain degree. That is a great lineage of wrestling dynasty. All right, but long time ago when The Rock first came out, they wasn't pushing extra hard on Rocky Johnson's son. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't until the Hall of Fame they really started pushing. That's just me. I ain't got no problem. Somebody can call me. I'll give you my number on the line. You can call me and debate all you want. I'm just being real. So that's why sometimes when you heard people talk about the first black champions and they say, well, The Rock. All right, well, okay, The Rock. That's the reason why you would hear that versus a Kofi Kingston, versus a Bobby Lashley, versus a Big E. Do you see what I'm saying?
I respect that.
Yeah, that's just my opinion when it comes to that.
Justix, let me move over to you. I know JDX was just saying, hey, is it really color or is it talent? Let's look recently. Big E. Everybody wanted to see Big E to have this awesome run. They wanted him to separate himself from New Day. They wanted him to just become that ultimate champion that we know that he can be. Yet he becomes that champion. And from the time he got that belt to the time he lost that belt, he pretty much had no wins. He lost to any match that he was up, tag team or individual. I mean, he did not show to be a strong champion. And then he had the nerve to pin him quickly by the same guy who actually pinned Kofi. What does that mean? Should I then look at Big E as maybe not really as much as a champion as we thought we were? Or he
not
really
to mention, DJ, sorry to interrupt, man, but I gotta throw this in there. Not to mention the fact that I believe this is when the whole fiasco with Big Swole went down, right? When TK, it was it was like the same day or the day before, and that really hurt me. I was just like, fuck, like
that's right.
If I go to WWE, am I like less of a man, a black man? Or if I go to AEW, like, fuck, does that make me less of a black man? You know what I mean? It really had me discombobulated mentally. It was sad for me personally.
Yeah, like that whole deal, I honestly feel like that choice, to put Big E on top was fan service.
Yeah.
Like it was just okay, shut up type thing. and now we're waiting until Brock chooses to sign or come back. Okay, type spill. It really wasn't meaningful. It had no heart to it, had no substance. It's kind of like when the whole synopsis of that was to give Big E the wheel, so to speak. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you can't give him the car title, but not want to let him drive as well. You know what I mean?
Understood.
So that's pretty much what they did. They're like, okay, yeah, you can have the car, but you cannot have what it means to get to A to B no more. You know what I mean? Like, like his rise was just
right
until they can make up their mind, saying, okay, we feel they should be satisfied, and then they changed their opinion.
Yeah.
You know, got it off of him. And to be honest, I feel like the industry itself, like big leagues, small leagues, it has evolved, but they've grown really good to typecast us really well. So it's like they try to cover up the typecasting with little breadcrumbs. You know what I mean?
Sure.
For sure.
Me personally, I find it disrespectful.
Mhm.
I think corny and tasteless. I think a lot of that has to do with people like us not really being in the driver's seat as far as writing, as far as booking, as far as being an owner in a promotion, as far as even having, you know, percentage in a promotion. They literally just will typecast you as, you know, back in the day, so to speak, we were typecasting dancers. You know what I mean? But the low level way of having us dance was, okay, the low level way is you're a street dancer, right? And the man would walk past you and throw little coins at you. You know, but how they made us feel better about being typecasted was that they started putting us in plays, movies, but they were still typecasting us. Still.
Yeah.
They're just trying to give us little cookie breadcrumbs with like titles, but it's still not the same thing. So
if I could add on to that,
go ahead.
I totally agree, because this is what I tell people as also at times, is that it when it's popular, people will promote it. And if you see like all the things that go around the world where it's specifically involving Black people, you can't tell me that the idea of making money out of it didn't come across the table. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I might, you know, call me the cynic, but I feel like that outweighed more than, hey, we're just gonna promote him just for the benefit of whatever it may be, you know?
Right. Because he's good, or he or she is good. Yeah.
Exactly. It's all, I feel like it just comes down to money. Like, and then when you can't make no more money out of it, just toss it, you know?
It's funny. It's not funny, but it's interesting that you say it like that, because when I think of like a Brock Lesnar, right, from the business standpoint, WWE has shown us when he rolls through, and me and Impact talk about this all the time. If we know a pay-per-view is coming up and Brock Lesnar goes to say, who's dropping the belt for his ass? Because he ain't coming in there just to do a one-off match. He ain't like Goldberg. He ain't gonna go and lose. That's my foreshadowing for what's going to happen. But anyways, at the end of the day, Brock Lesnar come in because he's a big draw. He's a money. Ronda is almost booked in the same type of way. So it's whoever's holding the belt is going to lose it. My question is who do we have that represents us, who's treated and given the same opportunity? And then my second question, if anybody wants to jump in, does that have a lot to do because we don't have writers? We don't have proper representation. We don't have people who can write for us and say, hey, besides of what you have done for years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe there's a whole expansive outside of that box that goes up to like 12, 15, 20, 50 different variations, because it shouldn't be just we held back by, you know, just what they want to say. Oh, well, we've only done this and this for a couple of years. Well, no, there's a lot more complexities to us because it's much, much more than our shades of color. We got personalities, we got different backgrounds, we got different culture. I mean, y'all tell me how you feel about that.
Well,
I'm sorry.
No, ladies first, by all means.
Okay. I also want to add on to what Justex said about the booking and then how they make it convenient, because that's exactly how I felt when it was Kofi's time. It was like, oh, well, the fans are behind Kofi, so let's put the belt on Kofi. Or when everyone was on Naomi, they're like, oh, this is Naomi's hometown. Let's just give her the belt. We'll give her a little. But when and I used to watch Total Divas, and there was a point where she had the belt, and she was like, well, I want to make the belt more like me. Like my theme is glow. So she put the glow, like she made the belt glow. And they had the biggest issue with that. And I'm just like, Like, why? Like, this is a part. Like, why not? You know?
Exactly.
It's they. All right, so I feel like when it comes in wrestling and entertainment, but we're talking about wrestling, I feel like they look at black people as like a cookie cutter in a way. Like they could like this is only like 3 models of us. That's it. Just and go through, you know. And then you know, with MVP is a perfect example of what happens when there's a black creative mind there. Because look at Bobby Lashley from the stories from when he first came back into WWE to when he became the Almighty.
Yeah.
It was like a big 180. You know what I'm saying? Because MVP was at the helm of it and he knew how to direct it. And then not only did MVP bring him up, he brought up Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander as well.
Sure.
Which I'm not gonna lie, I'm ever since the first time it happened, I'm still tight that the Hurt Business broke because I feel like that was a golden damn stable. Like that was the fucking team. Like, and for them to turn their back on each other, it just showed like the cookie cutter part.
Yeah.
Oh, you're at the top.
Yeah.
I can put you down, crabs in the barrel type bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That goes with the stereotype too. Like, oh well, black people can't do things together, so let's break them up.
Destructive. they tear themselves down. Like like I said, that whole booking, like really, it's insulting. Like when you just break it down with an intelligent African American black person, whatever, however you want to, put yourself out there, it's insulting. Like you're like that's like saying, you wonder like why are they putting so many liquor stores in the ghetto?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like metaphorical insults. You know what I mean to me? So like it's difficult to deal with when you see that on a platform that's reaching millions of people who already have biased thoughts on us in general. So
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know what's that's very interesting too that we're kind of discussing is we're talking about people behind the scenes, and particularly with MVP. Now I've been following Bobby Lashley MVP even way back in TNA, and that's where really that brainchild started because it was MVP, Kenny King, and it was Bobby Lashley, and I forget the name of the group. Man, it's crazy because I just escaped my mind, but they was on fire. They were on fire in TNA for a long stint of time. So and I remember I was telling Impact when MVP first showed up, I was talking about before they had mentioned Alexander and Benjamin being part of the Hurt Business. I was like, man, they need to bring Kenny King. I was talking about bring Kenny King in, bring him in. Because for me, I wanted to see what was done. But do you think that when you think of like people in writing, and I'm also going to put out another name because he also was involved in the creative side for a time, Paul Heyman.
For sure.
What if we had more Paul Heymans, but like an MVP or someone of that, like that would be able to advocate for us other than being an advocate on TV, but advocate for us and giving us that platform on a broader base?
Yeah.
I would keep them separate because MVP genius and Paul Heyman genius.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously, race is separate between those two, but mentally wise too was on point. Granted, I grew up in the ECW era as well, but I didn't really watch it as much. But Paul Heyman knew what he was doing and how to book. Yeah. But if I'm wrong, please correct me. But from what I noticed, it was like he was always a genius with this stuff. So with him helping turn around the WWE with his creative idea, with the WWE turning around with their ideas for black wrestlers, I wouldn't put it past him that he had a big hand in it as well.
Yes, but even like in the ECW, like I was watching ECW, I would stay up late until my mom went to sleep, and then I would be sitting in front, then so like even though Paul, like he had a lot of workers that were our color, but still even there, how many were champions, like world champions?
Damn, that's true.
I feel like only now he's where he's not really in the position of the high chair no more, so he can sit down with the common folk, see how we've been literally all these years. We just don't really have anybody to speak for us. And like then he's like, oh my God, you're really good. That's, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's like that. It's like that one. It's like when a college goes out of the rich place that they're in, like UCLA, goes to Compton, sees a good football player, you're like, oh, you guys are really good out here. You guys really can play football. You know, like that's that whole concept to me.
Yeah.
like you should have just had your eyes open, not had like a certain complex or been used to doing things a certain way. And if you were really eye to eye with us, there would have been a black champion in ECW. That mattered.
That's facts, man. You're right. You down.
I love
right.
that example. I love that.
That's
example.
very good. That is a good example.
Like he was brought down the pillar, like where the people who are in the position of power are right now. You know what I mean? Like he's not them no more. So now he's down here with us, and he's like, okay, oh, you know, now he gets to see us for what like we actually are on a daily basis. You got to travel with us now. You got to work with us. You get paid like us.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see what we do. Now you see what we go through. Now it's like somebody who like a rich person lost all their money and was sent back to the ghetto, and they had to like, kind of like live like us for a little while, you know. So I see how, you know, people like that are like, yes, like they're supporters. Mm-hmm. But usually it takes them to lose something for them to realize something.
Mm.
That's true.
Real.
Yeah.
That's true.
So how about that question then? Let me pose that question to you. What will it take WWE to lose to really have that opportunity to maybe to do some reflecting and to do some contemplating on, maybe just let's put it like this across the board on, let's look at, and I talked to Impact about this today, let's start putting some real money and some real people in charge of our booking and our writing. Not necessarily, you talked about cookie cutter earlier, not just people who know wrestling, mix it up with people who don't know wrestling but know how to write.
Mm-hmm.
People who have cultural competency, not just somebody that's from, you know, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble for some stereotyping, someone that might be from just Ohio or Kentucky or something, you know, have it be somebody who is well-rounded as much as possible. Do you see what I'm saying? Would that be helpful? What would you think need to be lost? And I want WWE, if you take on WWE, I want you to take on AEW, even though they just kind of starting and trying to gain ground. Impact Wrestling, ROH. Well, ROH ain't doing nothing right now, but maybe they've lost enough. I don't know. Anything could be your own local town, if that's the case. What do y'all think?
I would just like to go back for a second to what he said about with his example that he used. Someone coming to like Compton and be like, oh, you guys can't play, because that's like the realest thing I've ever heard, because that's facts. Because Black people are some of the strongest, some of the smartest people. Like our athleticism is like out of this world.
For sure.
But what they've done to us is they put us in this box and they said, okay, well, we're going to have the Black people, we're going to have them have hardships, we're going to give them bad education, and we're just going to sit them there, and they're not going to, like, we're going to make it hard for them to succeed. But someone who's white, they're like, oh, well, you get this, you get the college education, you get all of the sports, you get whatever you want, and just remember not to let any Black person get above you. That's kind of like what it feels like being like Black in this world, because like they don't make it easy for us, and that's the barrier in wrestling as well. Because like when I tell you, I've seen some Black talented wrestlers that are like, I'm like, why are they not signed? like what's going on? Why are they not signed? But you'll have a person who, I don't want to say it, but I'm saying someone who's trash and cannot work, and they will book them, and they're all over the flyers and everything. But you'll have that one Black person who's not booked, and they're like, I'm just like what's going on here?
Queen Strella, you're welcome to name names here if you want. I'm perfectly fine.
Oh no, nobody, y'all want me to name no names because I really don't got no filter. I'm just trying to be good.
Well, see, that's just it. We already said in the beginning, there is no filter. It leaves the door. So by all means, if you're gonna name somebody, go and name it.
No,
Well, you know,
I'm good to that. I'm gonna be good to that. Maybe next time though. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there because that was like that example was perfect. Justin.
how hard is it as indie wrestlers? Because and if I'm wrong on this, let me know. I would assume that your goal is to make it on into the professional wrestling, that's one of the top 3 companies that's out there on a regular basis, signed, being on TV regularly. How hard is it from where you guys are at now, being seen and somebody saying, hey, I'm gonna talk on your behalf, work on your behalf to get you on that next level? How difficult is that for you guys?
Oh my God, can I start this?
Sure.
Oh my gosh. Like it is like, in a way, it's like the craziest vortex of, sorry, part of my friends' bullshit. They serve us. Like, it's like they will only like boost you as long as they can like still keep you in their circle. You know what I mean? And then it goes from that aspect where like there can be a promotion or a circle of friends that get they look out for each other, but then, or they only book specific people. But then in order to get in that circle, you have to pretty much grovel or be their quote unquote bump monkey. You know what I mean? So it's like you really have, it sucks because unless you really like, brown nosing, you're the kind of like already like fighting okay, you're not with me, then you're against me, so you got to show me what you're worth. You got to work hard. You got to let me see you triple backflip 630 senton and land on your feet. Yeah. And it's like, bro, like I've trained at the New Japan dojo. You're booking people who've only booked like trained down the street. I've trained with Jake Roberts. You're booking people that are training their brothers. You know what I mean? Like there's like I literally have to go states over to like feel accepted at certain places. You know what I mean? Like it sucks like when like you have like especially, I don't know how it is like in your guys' area, but in the Pacific Northwest, it's kind of like there's a big guilty by association type thing. You know what I mean? And it's like, just because I'm very loyal. So if you book me, I'm going to work for you. I don't care if you don't like this person. I don't care if you don't like this person. I don't care if this person doesn't like you. You book me, I'm there. And out here, it's like, you're with this person? Guess what? Bloop. There goes your bookings from one promotion. Or these 2 promotions are working together, so they don't like this promotion, so therefore goes double your bookings. Or it's like a spider web of freaking domino effects when it comes that we have to like work our way through. Like it's hard to really get someone to genuinely support you.
Yeah.
Without them trying to like hold you back, because it's like the crab in a barrel. Like they're forcing us in a barrel, like we're crabs, when that's not even a crab's natural habitat. So we're acting outside of ourselves, trying to grovel for a position that we don't need to grovel for.
Like you on it tonight.
For real.
You on it tonight.
We going to church.
That's literally what I'm going through, bro. Like,
I'm sorry if I'm talking a lot, or like.
Oh, go ahead.
Like it's our month, man. It's our month. I need to say this. But yeah, sorry, but yeah, like they force us to try to act not like ourselves. Yeah. So they feel like they had some sort of like hand in creating whatever they choose to put out. It's like WWE will not really push you till they feel like you're a product of them. Then they'll push you. True. Like it's a Kevin Owens trying to become like a WWE guy. Yeah, then that's tough. Like now he's Kevin Owens to the point where he's like freaking like re-signing, but he's a whole Caucasian, so he's not really, he doesn't really apply.
So when you guys look at how Carmelo Hayes is being booked, do you not think that's him at all? You think that's WWE written all over him, or they're in the process of making him what they want him to be? Because it's kind of, he almost seems natural what he's doing with him and Trick. I mean, it really seems like in so many ways, like they not having too much control, but maybe there is. I don't know.
I feel like WWE said, hey, we're going to let you have reins on your creative as long as you're bringing the money back.
Mhm.
As soon as that money stops, hey, we're going to take that control right back from you.
Yeah.
Because when I saw the barbershop scene the other day they ran, I was pretty shocked.
Yeah.
That's us.
Yeah.
That's how we talk.
No,
that's
sure.
how it is at the shop. And I'm like, that's right where we at. I was shocked that they ran that.
Yeah. No, for sure. I was gonna say that, DJ.
Oh, okay.
Had a question came up about, who's or maybe you guys already did ask that question, like who do we feel like is representing us well, or whatever the case. I was definitely gonna say Carmelo. I was gonna say probably Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, just to name a few people. I feel like they're somewhat authentic. Definitely like that barbershop skit. I was gonna say that for sure.
Yeah.
I was on the podcast last night and I brought that up. Like, damn, I wish I would have thought of that damn skit. Like, obviously, on a weekly episodic TV show, but that's hot, that barbershop thing. So they definitely need to keep running with that because that's relatable, like you said, DJ. That's you know what I mean. That's the culture right there. Talking in the barbershop and shit. That's dope.
Well, I listen. I don't know what's going on there with NXT, but a lot of the music that they run, let me put it this way, there's a lot of our culture that's being used in NXT. I'm just going to put that out.
I was just about to say it. Appropriation. I'll be loud as hell and say it. Appropriation. Let's just have that. That's the word for the day.
But even if that's the case, what makes me wonder is, because I don't know this, is one of us over there doing that, or are we the one that's controlling that, or is that somebody that's going, I know what they like, let me do this, and I know what they like.
Yeah,
that's what I want to know that I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that's the case, honestly. I feel like it's like a high school, like NXT feels so like, I don't know if y'all into like comic books or anything, but there was like a show for like X-Men. It was called X-Men Evolution. I feel like that's what NXT has become, like a high school version of like pro wrestling, and it's like, I don't know, just like you said, the appropriation.
Damn, I can see that, JD.
Yeah, bro. Like it's like
thinking about that.
The youth movement, bro. Like they're listening to rap, and they got Lion.
Yeah.
I forget her name, something Lyons and shit. Like she's a dancer.
Oh yeah, Nikki Lyons.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
Like, question. So, how do you feel that they got rid of Hit Row but brought that in?
Yo,
that's a good point.
Yo, I was pissed.
So disrespectful.
I was pissed, but
because
I feel like my bad.
Here's the deal. I don't know if it was so much the fact that it was them or quota of just the fact that I really think there's probably some issue, some family issues going on with the McMahon and Triple H, because he just got rid of everybody from there. He just tossed out anyone that was over the gold and black brand. That's a whole nother story, and unfortunately Hit Row just happened to be a part of that. If that was his creation, then of course it would have been just great. Say that again. I'm sorry.
And they had just got like moved up to main roster, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it was only on SmackDown.
And like released them, like that was crazy.
Crazy.
And shit, like contract reasons.
No, Hit Row made WWE $1 million in their first run.
Yeah, I remember that.
Really?
Who did?
They made Hit Row alone. The stable made WWE $1 million.
Really?
Wow.
Let me ask you this question real quick, because I'll stir this whole pot up. What happens when we get too acclaimed? Not the one from AEW, but what happens when we get too acclaimed? When we pull too much eyes? When our merch is doing way too well and we not the New Day? is that the reason why they wanted to put a leash per se and constraints on Hit Row
I think so.
or other groups? I'm just being real.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think that's
That's
why
a
they
real
put a leash on a lot of Black athletes, because they know like I say, it goes back to like the power that Black people hold inside. Like they don't want that. They don't want little Black kids to see that Black people can succeed at something. They want them to see them at the drugstore or like in gangs. They want them to see them doing all the bad. They don't want them to see Black people.
Let me ask you this though, Strella. Do you still think that that's the case, even if they're bringing in tons of money? In other words, they still rather see us not looking good on camera than to accept millions of dollars being brought in from us. Is that what you're saying? Because the thing is, if we're bringing in, like what Justice said, where Hit Row had $1 million, then why would you let that go if it's about the money?
I don't think it was about the money. Because like if you like rethink about that question, like they just brought in $1 million on their first like run. Why would you let them go? Like, why would you cut them after you just moved them to the main roster? It just doesn't make sense. Unless there was something internally that happened backstage or whatever, like I just don't see the logic in it. Because if you're bringing me money, like I'm keeping you. Like you, what you want to do? Like,
Well,
Let me ask you. Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say it's kind of like the Zack Ryder thing, the Matt Cardona's thing. Like, you know what I mean? He got over authentically, like on his own, kind of. You know what I mean? So I feel like Hit Row is probably like that. Like while they kind of supported them, maybe, you know, Strella, maybe it's a thing where it's like, oh, we expect these motherfuckers to get this over. You know what I mean? So let's reel it back in a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. Because they let go of Brandy first, and then the rest of their heads rolled. Yeah. So I don't know.
They have to have a leash on this.
Oh yeah.
Just like SummerSlam, Bianca Belair was like here. And then like Becky Lynch comes back and it's like that's it. Like dude, you're done. Like that's
she was another Brock Lesnar. She was another Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Becky Lynch was the Brock Lesnar. I'm like,
yeah. Because Brock Lesnar probably would have done it, but they said, "Oh, Brock Lesnar, you can't F5 Bianca Belair though."
Yeah, right.
Bianca Belair probably could have picked his ass up though.
Right.
It's a reminder of, hey, yeah, you can make it, but just remember that we have control at the end of the day.
Perfect example. There you go.
Sure.
That right there.
That's all
that was some bullshit.
Like don't get too excited now.
We're public for a reason.
And you know what's a good example? One more time, Justice.
I said lashings were public for a reason. You know, they sent the message to everybody else. You know, so like whenever you see somebody get the rug pulled out of them, that's a public message, like saying we control the pages in this book. So
shit's crazy.
Don't follow up story.
And that's why people can't reach that level of superstardom. Because like you had a person like Bianca Belair. I had my girlfriend at the time. She's Asian, and I showed her the Sasha and Bianca match like months later after it happened, and she was invested. Like she said that Bianca Belair reminded her of the music artist Her, and that Cardi B was like kind of like Sasha Banks. So she kind of related to it in that sense. And so I was excited as fuck to like show her SummerSlam. I'm like, okay, like, all right, Bianca Belair, like this that girl, you know what I mean? The one you said to remind you of her. And so then out comes Becky Lynch. And I'm like, oh shit, like this is gonna be fire. Yeah. And then they pulled the rug right from under me. And guess what? She left the room because it's like, oh, this fucking Bianca lady that I was kind of getting invested into really ain't worth a damn because she got poorly rock bottom. And get the fuck out of here. It's really pissing me off thinking about it because it's like
that's how I felt.
I've been a 5-star WrestleMania match.
Well,
man,
you know what? And let's be real. Let me throw this out here right quick. You know, and I'm pretty sure I'll get handled for making such of a claim, but after watching the last few matches that Naomi has had with Charlotte Flair, but definitely the last one she had, if you guys saw on SmackDown.
Mhm.
That right there was a pay-per-view, if not damn near main event. First off, the entire crowd was just into it.
Yeah.
And Naomi was also showing she had to do all the work to show her skills. She didn't botch nothing. She was on point and easily could have won that match. Now we knew that with the storyline is going, it wouldn't be. But if you're going to sell me that Ronda, and I have nothing against Ronda, right? But if you're going to sell me your main event is going to be against Ronda and Charlotte, and I know that although Ronda's going through training, she still don't have the experience that Naomi has. To me, that would have made that would make more of a great WrestleMania if built up right.
Mm-hmm.
Then, then to run with what they're trying to go with, and so I'm just thinking to myself, it's just, it just shows that you can be really good. You can be great like Naomi and still, not make it to that level that you should be. And I really was, if you go back and watch that last match, it was awesome. It was
fire.
They put on about a good 20-minute. It was straight fire, and although I knew what the outcome was going to be, as exciting as it was, you couldn't tell me that couldn't be a main event. They main event SmackDown, but I'm telling you couldn't make that onto one of your big shows. It could have happened, but they have to see that. And I don't think they would ever see anyone like Naomi to be at a WrestleMania headlining. It will always be one of the four, which now Bianca's a part of, and Sasha as well.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, DJ, because I watch Raw and SmackDown sparingly. Like I pay attention to certain storylines and stuff. Right now, I'm not really interested with the Roman Reigns and Goldberg thing. Love Roman and what he's doing, but sorry, that was so long-winded just to ask this question. What is Charlotte doing?
It's all good.
What is Charlotte doing at what is she doing at Elimination Chamber?
I think she's actually in the Elimination Chamber, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. There is
I believe so. Let me double check on that.
Isn't there a tag team match?
There might be.
It's
I hope not.
I think it's Naomi and Ronda.
Oh, okay.
Versus Charlotte and
Becky.
I'm gonna say, don't say Becky.
No, it's not Becky.
Charlotte and Sonya Deville.
I'll try to look that up right quick. But
I'll be paying attention, y'all.
Yeah, no. It's this is what they got. They got Ronda Rousey and Naomi versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville.
Yeah,
Which to me is no offense, is a throwaway.
Yeah.
First and foremost, especially because you in Saudi Arabia where women are definitely not showcased, and you gonna give them that? Is that just so you could put all four of them on the card? You could have done something a little bit more amazing than that.
For sure.
Is this in Arabia? Elimination Chamber?
Right. I'll get that too. It is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I did not know that.
Yeah. You're gonna be watching at 9:00 Saturday morning or something like that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No wonder Goldberg wrestling.
Getting that Saudi money.
Hell yeah.
It goes back to what JDX said earlier about is it talent? Because we got Ronda Rousey, we got Naomi. Is it talent? What is it? Because I would much rather see Charlotte versus Naomi for WrestleMania.
Facts.
Oh, absolutely.
Facts.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to sound like a coon. I don't want to sound like a motherfucking coon saying is it talent?
No, you good.
There's just some people that I just don't be rocking with like that. That you know what I mean, get pushes and stuff. But there are some that I feel like that do deserve pushes. One person.
So real quick. Sorry about that, Strella. You were kind of going. The internet's cutting out just a little bit. We are gonna edit some of this out.
It's your Wi-Fi, Simon.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was like, sure, I heard you 1,000%.
You got that dollar.
Ah,
the AOL.
Hold on, he reconnected. Let him reconnect.
You are online.
somebody called in.
You over there smoking this whole time. I'm like, you smoking
yeah. I mean, I'm a big advocate.
I guess while he's popping, waiting to get back in, I know my internet was choppy, but it's been all right now, so that's definitely got to be his. So let me go here for a second. So we've talked about, because we can spend all day talking about WWE, and granted, no matter what, they do have a lot of black talent that is on their show that we do see on a regular basis. No matter if we feel they're being represented or not, we do see that. Let's look at another promotion like AEW.
Yeah.
Yes, we have Jay Cargo as the TBS, but I mean, outside of that, and that just happened, these guys been 3 years now, and we haven't seen much when it comes to our representation and getting up to that level as well. What about Scorpio Sky? Why is he hanging out with Ethan Page? I'm confused. And listen, I'm and I'm glad they picked up Jay Lethal because of the ROH thing. I'm a Jay Lethal fan, and I'm glad they got Keith Lee, but and even Jay Lethal couldn't win that little match, which is a dumb title that WTF title, whatever. But you're telling me that
FTW.
Yeah. FTW. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
They treat it like what the fuck title.
I know, right?
Yeah, no, facts. I was actually gonna say that.
Yeah.
I feel like Ricky Starks. I believe Ricky Starks is black, right? That man's black, definitely, right?
I think he might. I'm going to look that one
He
up.
mixed. He's definitely.
I think he's mixed.
Yeah, with his hair, man got to be mixed.
But he ain't Cuban.
I was gonna say
Cuban.
I mean, shit, he could be, but I was gonna say even with him being a POC, a person of color, like I feel like Ricky Starks got fucking it. He got everything. That man can wrestle. That man can talk. I feel like he should be on the same level as like an MJF. You know what I mean? But like
I would love to invite you over to the Vegas BadBoyz, a podcast on a Sunday, so as you can tell that to my other cohorts, because I said it about a year ago, and they looked at me like I was crazy. I said he reminded me of Mini Rock in some ways, the way he speaks.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude. I was with I trained with Darius Martin, and that man's a fucking wrestling nerd. But like he was putting me on with Ricky Starks like 2 years ago before that man like got signed with AEW and shit, and so like. He would show me his skits like on the indies, and like I was like, bro, he reminds me of The Rock. Like I lost it because it was just like it was so glaringly obvious that he had that Rock factor about him, just the A factor. And I don't know, maybe it's something that I don't know, like behind the scenes as to why he's not getting that type of push. But yeah, he's definitely on the level.
Powerhouse Hobbs. Why is it somebody as big as him
for sure
not being also pushed to that level? I'm just confused what they're doing over there when it comes to our talent as well. And I know Jay Cargo's getting a lot of heat right now for being, as they quote, very green, and and how they're booking her in her matches. We know that their women division is still in some way struggling outside of having Thunder Rosa and Mercedes and maybe Britt Baker, but a lot of the other talent they have over there, but the bottom line is, where are we at when it comes to moving up there? And why are you thinking about that? I mean, let's contrast that with Impact Wrestling. We do have Moose, right? Moose right now is the Impact champion. Impact over time has had they've had their lead of black champions. I know Bobby Lashley, when he was there, he was also the champion. R-Truth or Ron Killings over there have been champion. We had Rich Swann. You can kind of say that Impact has kind of made some moves there, but what's going on with AEW? Let's talk about it.
Well, I'll say that I gotta say this. A lot of people they complain about Jade being so green. She got a title and how she's being pushed, but well, I mean, no disrespect to this person, but what's good with Hook.
Hey,
I mean, they
you ain't
pushing
lying.
him like he's a
True.
motherfucking beast.
Mhm.
It's
You
true.
know what I'm saying?
It's true.
And you know, they
True.
say, oh, because of his dad. I'm like, well, his dad had size.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was
Yeah.
more believable. And like with Hook, you know, and like I said, it's not to put too much light on it or to even like talk down on it, but it's like if you for like cosmetic wise, you look like a teenager.
Nah, you know what
No
it look
selling
like?
pile drivers. You know what I'm saying? Like
True.
just throwing motherfuckers around like they just nothing. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Hey,
Complain about
Malik.
Jade.
Malik, they got Hook. They got Hook looking like young Goku, or no,
Yeah,
Gohan
you know
in
what
the
I'm
Cell
saying?
Saga.
Like,
That's what he looked like, young
For sure.
Gohan in the Cell Saga.
I swear, the Saiyan 2 level is whooping everybody.
Yeah.
He said,
So-
"You haven't even seen my Super Saiyan 2 form."
No, not
Yeah,
even.
not
Not
you
even.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I swear he do.
And that's why it's like it's my problem when the people are like, oh, Jade, she's so green, or why this and this is like, but y'all in the same breath, y'all cheering on Hook like, oh man, he's the next best thing, and this dude is green than dog shit.
Nah, he is. That's true.
You know?
And I fuck with Hook. Hook is
Yeah.
but that's true. He is.
But how they
Keep
pushing
it-
him is like he's a fucking
Yeah.
beast.
Call a spade a spade. You right about that, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Can I-
my thoughts on it.
Can I raise a
So
question?
Yeah.
When you kind of got to talking about it, I would love, since we have like this platform, I would love to get you guys' opinion on it. And I'm sorry to drift away from AEW, but like, what's your guys' opinion on the whole Jordan Miles thing, like the ACH thing with the T-shirt and stuff?
I honestly have not seen
I remember that.
That was the whole
remember
story, right?
Come again?
Oh, that's right.
The
They just
blackface. The blackface.
Yeah,
thing.
the
Right,
lips.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That
Oh,
one.
I think I do remember that.
Yeah.
Hey, I was with
I
him.
just
I was like, I
face
see
thing
it.
with the lips. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that man was
I see
spazzing.
it. I see the design and everything, bro. Like, I'm with you.
I feel like they pushed the line on that to see what they can get.
Mm,
Yep.
Let me look this up.
yeah,
You know, I mean, I may be wrong because I wasn't in the creative room when they made it happen, but
for sure.
maybe looking from the outside in, it's like, really, y'all really gave this man this shirt to rock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So no, I wasn't fucking with it.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Me either.
Yeah,
Me either.
I just had to look it back up. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Now
cool.
this was a while back though, right? When this a while back?
This was,
Okay.
20
Yeah, because I remember the name. I
2019.
said this wasn't recent. Okay. So this is right before COVID. I remember
Right,
everybody,
literally right before.
everybody was
Yep.
getting up in arms about it.
Yeah. Twitter.
You know
has
what?
some fit.
Let me ask you a question. Remember a while back, like Nas came out with his own shirt, which was, said nigga. That's basically what it said, right? And people was kind of in up arms about that, but he said, hey, I'm gonna own it. I mean, y'all making money off of it, but let me own it. So I mean, even though I don't want to go too deep with Jordan Miles' shirt, right?
Yeah.
Like, didn't he come out and say that he was behind the creative with that?
No, so
Or did they create it?
they came.
They
I believe
created-
Hunter, like Triple H, came to him and was like, "This is the design." And ACH Jordan at the time, he was like, "No, I'm not fucking with this," or something like that.
Was that
And-
what it was? He said he wasn't gonna do it.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I believe Triple H or somebody tried to say that he had actually approved it. So it's like a he say, she say type of thing, you know. So nobody really knows what the truth really is.
Because that hit almost toward the end of the year. It was like a November or October, November-ish. Yeah. And then after that, COVID hit, and so like all of us was in a different mind frame, and that got shelved. And then the Me Too movement started kind of happening, so it even more got pushed down under the shelf.
Yeah, I feel like that's why everything just went.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
shooting videos in his car. Shooting videos in his car, cussing out the WWE.
Okay, now I remember that.
yeah.
Now I remember
No,
that.
He
he
was,
was-
he
that
was
man was
snapping.
Yeah.
Don't fucking call me that. That's a slang name.
Yeah.
That man was spazzing, bro. I was like, oh shit.
Yo.
Let me ask you this question. Even not just in wrestling, just in your walks of life, do you feel that sometimes there are people that's trying to get you to co-sign on some incorrect shit that goes against, you know, the culture. Because, you know, I've had to check quite a few people in my lifetime that I wasn't cool associated with them, but I'd be somewhere and, you know, they would use the N-word. I'd be like, nah, bro, that ain't cool.
Yeah,
like straight up. And I'd have to stop them. And there was even one time I was working at a place and I had a supervisor tell me, well, you're not really black. I was like, well, I told him straight up, what the fuck does that mean? I told him, I almost got in trouble. In fact, I called Impact about this shit. This many years, man, I was working for that company that you see in NXT. People that supply their uniforms. I want to call their name out, Centos. And he had basically told me that. Yeah, and I told him straight up. I said, "What the fuck do you mean?" And he said, "Well, you don't have to take it all personal." But I said, "Yeah, I take it personal because at the end of the day, you trying to say I ain't black what? Because my skin color light, or because you know I'm an educated man? Oh, okay, right. My bad." And I were in on him, almost got in trouble. Have y'all experienced anything like that, whether it be in this industry or even outside of that? And do you see that be something that potentially does happen more often than not, especially if you
all the time? I get told I talk like a white person all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're too articulate, or you're very articulate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what articulate means, but you know, but why the fuck would you tell me that? You won't tell the next man that next me that same thing, you know?
Or if you say something smart or like something that's like educated, and then they tell you, they try to make like you're stupid, like like you're not supposed, like you're wrong. Like no, like I know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, for sure.
Yep.
Like I get told I don't talk like I'm from Chicago, and I'm just like, bruh.
Like, what am I supposed to do? Or when they say you don't talk black, like what am I supposed to talk like?
Yeah. I feel like with it's a form of control, because at the end of the day they want to still be able to say, oh, you can't or you can, you know, and it just goes along with it. Just I feel, you know.
And I just want to bring up stereotypes and storylines right now, because last year I had a promoter try to put me in a storyline. Now my character is a bougie bag bitch, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna he's like, I'm thinking of having you, like, whether it's a joke or not, it was just like no. But he's like, yeah, I'm thinking of having you like have a storyline with a baby daddy. And I'm like, absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah.
What do I look like? Like I'm not
the racial undertone in that one.
Yeah. I'm like, no, like, oh, because I'm black, you want me to be a baby mama, but what about the other girls? Like, what about them? Like, why can't they be the baby mama? Like, why do I have to be? And it just
lazy ass writing right there.
My character, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, it's just not. Like, I will not wrestle until you change your mind. Like,
that's lazy.
Good for you, for real though.
Yeah, like I don't like that.
I want to shift over a little bit since we're talking to you, Strella, with regards to what are some of the things that, you know, Black women go through in, you know, wrestling. You know, a lot of, you know, because it's one thing for Black men to have to go through things, but Black women, we already know in our culture, like y'all got to go through so much more in some ways than us, because y'all not even expected in some places, you know, to have to overcome some of the hardships you already have. You see what I'm saying? And I don't even want to go into detail about, you know, you had mentioned a little bit earlier, but the brown paper bag test that they used to do back in the day. Yeah, I said it because that was the shit that they was doing in Hollywood. How do you feel about that?
As a Black woman in wrestling, it is a little more harder to get yourself out than it would be for someone who's white or Mexican, or, you know, because everyone, like, it goes back to what I said about people being like bad in the ring, but then you have someone else who's like extremely good, and you're like, okay, well, why isn't this person on? Oh, because this person doesn't look like her, like she doesn't have. And then you have like there's been multiple times where, in like, I tag with Maserati, and there's multiple times where we've gone out and we have fans who are yelling at us like, oh, your wig's trash. Or there was actually a white lady in the fan stand talking, like, when we had a match, and she was like, oh, well, my real hair looks better than yours. And I was like, it like no, it doesn't. Like it's thinning. Like you look still. Like I was getting hot. And then she was like,
that straw hair.
she was trying to come at me. I was like, okay, well I see you outside, and I wasn't gonna really go fight her, but I was like, I want to see if she's gonna stand outside. So I went out front, and like all the fans out there, like, oh my god, we were so ready for a fight. I'm like, I wasn't gonna fight her, but like. I just wanted to tell her, like, you shouldn't say stuff like that. Like, that's not appropriate. You can't tell that to a Black woman. Like, her hair, and like, it's to like, I've grown. Like, I took a little hiatus. Like, I'm just not coming back, but I've grown to like love like who I am as a Black woman, like with my natural hair. And if you guys see me in the ring, like, you'll see me like with braids, or I'll have dreads, and like sometimes I'll wear a wig, or sometimes I'll have my natural hair. And like, there was one time where I actually had a little poof ball when I was wrestling. And it came out, and like my natural hair was out, and you know, I was just like, okay, and like, what y'all gonna do? And like the fans were
I saw that match.
Like the fans I saw that match, and I was like, what am I gonna do? Like cry? Like it's just stuff like that. Like we have to keep up with our parents more, and it's just like we just have to work harder than someone who's not like Black. Like. Sure. That's just like real life too. Like Black women, we have it like a lot harder than a lot of women.
Can I jump in? It's like, since it is Black History Month too, you know, in the great words of Papa Pope, what do you tell Olivia? You got to work twice as hard to receive half as much.
Yeah. That's exactly what it's like. Like you got to work so much harder. And you can like, and I don't remember who said it, but it's like, oh well, they expect Black people to like have it all. Like you have to be good on the mic, you have to be athletic, you have to be strong, and all this stuff. And that's facts, because there's people who's like a good wrestler, but they are not good talkers. Like they can't talk at all, and they're like on TV and doing all this stuff, and it's like
aesthetically pleasing as well.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's a lot as Black women.
Who would you say, Strella, stands out as far as people that have propelled Black women in wrestling forward? That's really have done a good job, let's say, to where we still have more room to grow, obviously, but they were pushing in the right direction.
I'm going to go and say Naomi, because Naomi, to me, like I love Sasha Banks. Like I'm a Sasha Banks girl. And Bianca Belair, love her too. But Naomi, in my opinion, is like the representation. Like she will go out, like how I said, I'll go out with my nephew. Like that's why I started doing it, was because of Naomi. Like when Naomi came out for the Royal Rumble and she had her natural hair out, like I lost it. I was like, Naomi could do it. Like what am I scared of? Like I think Naomi is definitely, and I think that she deserves her flowers.
It's that representation.
Yeah.
Love to hear that.
So let me ask this question, because it was brought up in our other panels. 2 names, and y'all just say y'all opinions about it, good, bad, or indifferent. All right. So the last 2 panels we did, 2 names came up a lot. One was Shelton Benjamin, and the other one was R-Truth. What is your takes on that? Do you think that they should deserve a push? Do you think, why haven't they had a push? Could it be how they representing? Maybe might be holding us back, or maybe it's okay, or maybe they have a part to play. Please speak your mind.
Shelton Benjamin had it all. He was the package. I don't care. I don't care what nobody say. That man should have been world champion like 2 times over at least by now. You know what I'm saying? From the athleticism to the look to just like how he is, like skill-wise, just everything. Period. He had the package, but again, at that time, it wasn't popular to push Black stars, so you know that only went so far for him to reach IC title status, which is not bad in itself, but that was his cap. R-Truth, he kept to this day. I mean, he been running with them forever. I mean, he been in the business forever, and then like even through the COVID era, what they call in wrestling, he helped carry them through that the whole time. Not even a world champion, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that they would take that into consideration to put him at Hall of Fame status, you know, because it's, and excuse me, wow, I lost train of thought. Basically, what I'm saying, what I'm saying is I feel like they overlook him for everything he contributed to that company.
No,
You know what I'm saying? I hope that they don't overlook him when it comes to Hall of Fame status.
Nah, that man gotta go into the Hall
No,
of
he
Fame.
got to.
Yeah.
It's not a question. Like, he's a first round draft pick for Hall of Fame status.
Hell yeah.
So that's my thoughts on those two.
I think that R-Truth is a very smart businessman because this man barely takes bumps and he is getting paid. He's barely doing anything. He is getting paid, and I respect that.
That's very true.
Yeah, Shelton was actually like one of my favorite wrestlers, bar none. You know, like when he was tagging with Charlie, you know, the world's greatest tag team, and then in OVW when it was him and Brock. You know, so like I truly feel like even to this day, if you just I've always known Shelton's not the best talker. Okay, right?
And that's what I was gonna say.
That's I feel like that's his only drawback.
Yeah,
that's it. You give someone to fill that position, world champion. His matches speak for themselves. He can make somebody look freaking awesome, and he can make himself look awesome as well. He has the look. Even if they keep him off TV for a few months, let him come back with a beard and a mouthpiece. Boom. World champion instantly. The world will forget everything that you do with him if you just give him the platform, you know. True. And I feel like, you know, R-Truth, I feel like he's one of those people who's like given a position and just made the most out of it, you know, like, okay, if you want me to play this guy, guess what? I'm gonna play this guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he just made it work. You know, he went from, and he's like, he's a world champion in TNA, you know, and like,
first black NWA champion. Much respect to him.
You know what I mean? So like, there's no reason he shouldn't be like, you know, of course, Hall of Fame, but I would love to see him have a serious, like, upper title run. You know, show like
we can dream,
like the Ron Killings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a Ron Killings title run. Like, I even say he wins it, but like say like his final one before he hangs up those boots. You know, like show people exactly why he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So I think they both could have, you know, deserved more. But I think they both have made the most of what they've been given.
What was you gonna say, JDX, with regards to those two?
I mean, honestly, I would kind of be just beating a dead horse at this point, but I'll go ahead and speak since I'm caught upon. Like 2004, like 2005, Shelton, dude, like athleticism. Still to this day, he's still athletic as hell, but like, dude, him in the Money in the Bank matches every year, he's making legendary moments. You know what I mean? Like just a human highlight reel, so to speak. Yeah, my only knock against Shelton would just be the talking factor, but his wrestling, and he's so aesthetically pleasing, to use Malik's like term. You know what I mean? Like that, he's legit. You know what I mean? So, like Justice said, like you can get him a mouthpiece. You know what I mean? So there's really no excuse. I feel as though, you know, back when he was probably his best chance probably was like that 04 like through 06 type of run. And we all know where those pushes went. That went to like Orton, Edge, Batista, Cena, you know what I mean? So there really wasn't, I guess, much space for him to, you know, reach the top. And then as far as R-Truth, he was taken seriously in TNA. Like, he had Adam Pac-Man Jones with him. Like, that's pretty big, you know. And first NWA Black champion. I think the closest he ever really came was like, you know, the Lil Jimmy shit, like with John Cena, which would have been really cool to just give him, you know, the belt, even if he would have somehow cheated, you know what I mean, to legitimize him. Like, just let him. I think it was Capital Punishment. That was the one-off pay-per-view WWE did. I think it was like 2012 or some shit. But like you kind of knew Cena was just gonna be him, right? But it's like, fuck, like, I don't know, just give it to him just because. Like, he's a
at this point, obviously like a lifer, quote unquote. So I don't know. He could have got like the Kane thing. I feel like where Kane won it for one day and then lost it the next. You know what I mean, just to legitimize him even more. You know?
And just to connect with like the Shelton thing, like Shelton Benjamin was what like Kofi is now.
Yeah.
For the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah,
you know
facts.
What I mean?
Yeah, literally, yes.
Literally, like
Yeah.
he was like the first person I ever seen like run up the ladder.
Yeah.
And do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like fake do.
Legendary
and then, like,
shit.
Be up there. You know, like Shelton was freaking amazing in that time frame, bro. Like, bro.
The springboard, like sweet chin music, like fucking.
Yeah.
Like fuck. Even though he was taking the move, it's still like a legend.
He made that shit look golden.
He can make anybody freaking awesome if you put them in the ring with them.
Hell yeah.
So there was one more name that got mentioned, and I want to push it over to you. Just exciting. Apollo Crews. Some people agree with his latest iteration. Some people do not. Some people have their opinions. Some people say, you know, the one thing we can't confirm is he does have Nigerian roots. That is legitimate.
Yeah.
However, what is your take? Because you also have Nigerian roots. And since we got you on the panel, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, man. I say probably the biggest thing I have to say about that is Commander Aziz. I think that's probably the biggest thing I hate about it. You know, like you can say like, "Oh, my Nigerian roots, it makes me strong and athletic, and it's natural, and I'm royalty and all this." But Commander Aziz, bro, throws it all up. Like, I feel like in a way, if they would have booked Commander Aziz, like I would have thought of, that's too much black. Like, you can't have somebody who looks like Apollo with Apollo, but just bigger. You know what I mean? Like it's too much black, so they had to like make Commander Aziz like, you know, like wherever he's from, instead of just from Nigerian too, even though he was a part of the Nigerian army. You know, like I would have preferred Apollo and Omos.
Yes.
Yeah, facts.
For sure.
They still
I didn't think about it.
But they went Apollo and some Arabian dude.
Baba Donde is what his name originally was. Baba Donde.
Yeah, no, that is what it was.
Baba Donde.
That man used to be an evolved squashing motherfuckers.
In my opinion, that's just he's doing him. I just say my biggest dislike of that is Commander Aziz, because that's still showing in a way in my eyes. I don't know. I'm like Sherlock Holmes when he was like slowing everything down. He's like, I'm gonna hit him here and this and that here. You know, like I'm super detailed with my thinking, and that's still like me saying like, okay, he can't do it on his own, or he can't do it with someone who looks like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he has to do it with someone who's a different race, bigger. You know, like that's just my thought process. So if that's what I would change, I would have had Omos with Apollo instead of that whole thing.
Shit, you make me want that now.
Yeah.
Can we get a petition signed and just keep sending it to WWE, please?
Hey, see, you know what I mean? And then Aziz they could have did the same thing with AJ and Aziz.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both A's in their name. A and A. You know what
Every
I mean?
time I hear Aziz, I just want to say bless you.
Right? So it's like,
Bless you.
yeah. So I would give it a thumbs up, you know, because I just like there being a representative. Mm-hmm. Just like I like Nagano in UFC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's from where, you know, I'm from. So like I just say if you're going to go that route, at least go that route all the way. Don't 50-50 it, like, okay, it's Apollo, but an Arabian corporal.
Yeah. It's like the Yokozuna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yokozuna thing.
That's a good point.
Or Muhammad Hassan.
Yes, you know,
motherfucker's
like
not.
Oh yeah.
if
He's
you're gonna
not.
do it, just do it.
He's not.
But yeah, give me Apollo and
Pakistani.
Omos for a
Yes,
tag
that would be
team.
lit. That would be so lit.
As we about to wrap it up, I just want to ask one question, and if each of you want to jump in that one, that's cool, or whoever wants to speak. But there could be those who listens to this podcast or any of our older podcasts, and they can go, I hear what you guys are saying, but I just don't see it in terms of there not being representation in professional wrestling out there. They start throwing out names. They say, well, what about Jonathan Grisham, who's the ROH Pure Champion? What about Moose, who's the Impact World Champion? Jay Cargo, isn't she the TBS Women's Champion? Bobby Lashley is your WWE Champion. Carmelo is your NXT North American Champion.
Mhm.
Alex Kane, your MLW Openweight Champion. So if they're throwing these names, how do you respond to them and still explain that, yes, but there's still some work to do?
The same thing is like, it's like, yes, you're saying these names, but there's more McDonald's than the one McDonald's that they're showing you in the commercial. You know what I mean? Like there's different promotions besides that. Every McDonald's isn't the same McDonald's that they're showing you in the commercial, just like every Big Mac doesn't really look like that. It's really messy. It comes in a box and the lettuce is all spread out because it's, you know, like it wasn't put together. Like that's a simplistic way of trying to say, well, I have a black friend.
Yes.
That's all it is.
For sure.
That's what you're trying
That's a
to
perfect
do.
way to sum that up.
Yes.
My neighbor's black. Yeah.
Right.
So like, I got a black friend down the street that we play golf every Sunday. It's like, you know,
No, thanks.
you know, there are more black people than your friend, right? So
Right.
I feel like it's like, here, aren't y'all happy enough yet? Y'all
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what I heard when
That's what I was
thinking.
thinking.
Literally.
It's like, yeah, but come on, guys, aren't y'all satisfied yet?
Yeah.
Right.
That's what goes through my head, man. But then, like, I was even just thinking that, like, when he asked that question, I'm like, damn, like, as DJ was naming off all them people, I'm like, god damn, like, I didn't even realize there was that many black motherfuckers. I was like, fuck, are we tripping? I was like, damn, oh no, fuck, I didn't even realize that.
But see, if I was to name off all the white champions, we'll be having a long list. I'll have 2 or 3 pages I would have to go on.
I was thinking that too. I was like, yeah, you listen to all these names, but there's way more successful white ones.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Motherfuckers ain't getting we not getting no Roman Reigns type pushes. You feel me?
Right.
Like they tried with Big E, but it was like Malik said, I believe it was earlier, it was like fan service, or maybe it was Justice. I'm not sure. They said it was more like a fan service type of thing. You know what I mean? So just trying to make us happy, keep us hushed.
Yep.
So
you're like, shut the black people up, give them the champion.
Right. Let somebody get a Roman Reigns type of.
Here you go, niggas. Shut up.
Basically, that's all it is, bro.
Hey, but you know what's real talk though? Real talk, because I'm from Louisiana. They give us scraps off their table, and we went ahead and made a gumbo. And now these motherfuckers want to eat out my pot. Just saying.
Exactly.
I do want to throw this in real quick. I know we're short for time. So this past weekend, in Fort Lauderdale, JB runs Fighting Evolution Wrestling. Strella, I'm sure Monty told you about the event she went to this past weekend.
Yeah.
It was an all black event with all black talent. And you know, people think like, oh, when all black people are together, you know, we're violent or something bad's gonna happen. No, I mean, we know how we are, but from the people outside looking in, they're like, damn, you know, they ain't arguing, they ain't killing each other, they ain't shooting, they ain't selling drugs, like, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like such a fucking. I had to give him credit and his flowers on this because he did such a fucking fantastic job on it by bringing a lot of talent out there. You know what I'm saying? So look out for it. It's he's actually making this one into a documentary, but it's a Fighting Evolution Wrestling. It was a Say Loud event. 1 last year, 2 this year, and hopefully 3 next year.
Oh hell yeah.
Shit.
We need more people like that to do stuff like that because it was just a fucking vibe. Like Scorpio was out there, Chris Bay was out there, you know, Mozzie was out there, Caprice Coleman was out there, Faye Jackson was out there, a lot of people, you know. I mean, if I sat here and named everybody else, you know, it'd be a list.
Yeah.
But it was
cookout.
yeah, it was basically the cookout, bro. Like that's all it was, you know what I'm saying? And it was just a whole vibe, dog. And we see it, nobody was really on their phones. Everybody was just vibing out, talking.
I
You know
love
what I'm
that.
saying? So,
I can't stand when you're in a group of people and like everybody on their phone, like
they're like this.
what about like tell me something about you. What's your story?
Yeah,
Exactly. Everybody just vibed out, you know what I'm saying? So I had to plug that in real quick for them and just for us as a community, you know, because like I said, it was lit.
Ultimately, I and that's good to hear. I often say that, you know, maybe that's how we should be looking instead of how instead of trying to advance in their world, why don't we just create our own?
Yeah.
DJ, that's to answer your question. Actually, you said what would it take? What would they have to lose for them to realize like, holy shit? It's for black talent to be like, hey, you know, we can start our own shit. We gone from y'all.
Yeah.
We'll holler at y'all. You know what I'm saying? Almost like the TikTok thing when all the black creators was like put on strikes and man, fuck that. And then you saw all the other people making the same TikToks over because they had new content. Same thing. If we take our shit and do our own shit, we kill everything else around us.
Right.
Yep. Real talk.
And they in our business. Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can we get a booking, please? Can we get a circle, please?
Yeah, facts.
They'll be knocking at our doors.
Right.
Who I send my information to?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Who I tap in with. You know, they're gonna try to use our vernacular as well to try to get in even quicker. So
of course. Absolutely.
They can do everything they want, but you are not allowed to make potato salad and bring it to the cookout. You are just not allowed. Not allowed at all. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't even look in our direction.
But I got black friends. Nah. Don't qualify you to make no potato salad. I'm sorry.
You make salad. Y'all. That's all you make. You make the regular salad. All you're in charge of is the salad.
And that's the regular salad. Oh, dude.
I enjoyed our talk and conversation. Appreciate all of you for coming on and I think this is going to be.
We still got the queen.
What? What about me?
You didn't say your final words.
Oh yeah.
I was just trying.
We can't forget about the queen. I'm sorry, Impact. But I mean, you're the only person that didn't answer the question.
I forgot the question.
That's okay.
I took an edible, so I'm like,
that's okay. You're the queen, so you can do whatever you want. We good with it.
Yes, Simon, mind your business.
Hey, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys pretty much, like I say, get your final thoughts, shout outs. If you want to plug any your social media or dates, feel free to do that. But again, I just think conversation like this is good to have. We should. This is our first time as Vegas BadBoyz doing this. We're hoping that we can continue this conversation even outside of Black History. We're gonna try to figure out how to, tighten it up and get it to a point where it's just, it's just right that we can just continue to have this platform because it's something that needs to be talked about. It's our experiences, so it should be taken seriously. And, and I think this is that type of thoughtful conversation that is needed, and especially in pro wrestling. The same thing that I see as a fan, you guys see as workers in the actual industry. So there's a lot there, and there's a lot of changes that we see that need to happen, and hopefully it will. I know a lot of times they say change starts with us, so that's something we have to look into and see how we can start doing that within ourselves. But the bottom line is we got to definitely make that change. So with that, final words and thoughts. I'll start. going on the circle on my screen, and that will be you first, Just X. Let us know, man, what you got coming on or anything, and let everybody know.
All right, so you guys can follow me at my new Twitter, the DA Living Feeling, because I'm just exciting. So the living feeling, I'm living, I'm alive. Instagram, Just Exciting Wrestling. I also have another one, I Am Just Exciting. Man, I'm all over the place. Just wrestled TJ Perkins that Sunday. Go check out that match on YouTube. Just Exciting versus TJ Perkins. Book me. Just Exciting Wrestling at gmail.com. Holla at your boy.
All right, awesome. Malik.
Boom. So we got the integrator, Malik Bosede. You can catch me on Instagram and Twitter, MB Integrator. On Facebook, Malik Bosede. Also have my own company, Bout My LLC. Check out the merch. It's Bout My LLC on Twitter and Instagram as well. And I am part of Culture Inc. So you can check out our stuff on YouTube, Culture Inc. 2 Eyes on the Ink. This weekend, we are defending our reality wrestling titles on Saturday in Houston, Texas. And then we fly over to Greensboro to continue on with our New Jack Memorial Tag Team Cup at Firestar Pro Wrestling. Boom.
Awesome. Thank you much. JDX.
So you guys can find me on Instagram at the.official.jdx. On YouTube, you can find me at, I believe it's official JDX. On Twitter, you can find me at official JDX. This weekend, I have Black Wrestlers Matter 3 coming up, St. Louis.
Word.
Yeah, that should be a good one. I got Fred Yehi. I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be good.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm going to have to step my game up for that one, but
yeah.
I get through it. And then on Sunday in Ohio, I got Trey Lamar for the first time for the Ohio Wrestling Alliance Championship. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. And then as far as bookings, man, I'm open right now. I had one of my main promotions. They're going through some management changes in WrestleMax. So a lot of my Saturdays, Fridays, just weekends in general, have a passport. So I'm ready, man. And I want to say like here I'm based in Atlanta, but I feel as though like there is a quota, like as far as like Black wrestlers and shit. Like there's some really talented Black wrestlers here, like the AC Max of the world, the Owen Nice, the Carly Bravos, Darian Bankses. I feel like it's just like, oh shit, we got enough Black wrestlers now. Like let's break that fucking mode, please.
Yeah.
Of like, filling a quota, the Joe Blacks too of the world, and the David Ali's. Like it's plenty of talented Black wrestlers, but let's cut out that quota. You know what I mean? Because like if you're talented, you're talented. Like as we say, get off that shit, basically. Just drop that. I don't know. So
no, I feel you, man. Thank you much. We have to go with the best before we leave out of here, and that's Queen Strella.
Oh, I'm the best.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so my social media is I am that's THEE Strella on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on Strella Hansley on Facebook, but don't add me if you're weak because I'll be posting. I got next weekend. I just came back, so next weekend my first match back will be against D-Rogue at the Level Up Expo, and I also have a big boss battle with King Kang and JDX and all those big boys.
Stop.
And then March 5th, I'm going to be wrestling in California for a Black-owned promotion called Compton Mania. And and I am taking bookings. WrestleMania weekend for the culture.
Right. Right. Yeah, AJ Green.
And the only thing that I want to close out and say, I know that a lot, like in these times that we're living in right now, like we don't hear it a lot, but always try to spread positivity and spread love, because those are the two things that are gonna bring everyone together and save the world. I'm sorry to be all hippie on y'all, but that's just who I am.
Hey, so we needed to hear that. Some people needed to hear that. Me being one of them.
And if nobody told y'all, I love you. So yeah.
I hear that. No doubt. Simon, did you want to say any last words, man?
Well, ordinarily, I'm the hippie of the Bay's Bad Boys, and I'm always sending out that positivity. So, be the fact that Queen said it, she didn't already said everything I was going to say. But at the end of the day, I appreciate every one of y'all panelists for coming on, taking your time to hang out with us. I appreciate what you do, and I'm always advocating for the wrestler, because I come into contact with a lot of people that have their misconceptions about what it means to be in this industry. And I tell them, you have no idea what is sacrificed to entertain you. You have no idea how much they start from the bottom and how much they grinding just for their own dream. So don't ever take that for granted. And, for every people that's watching this right now, look these people up on their social media and go check them out. Go buy their merch if they got merch, because that's where it first starts. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, fellas, for having us.
Thank you.
No doubt. All right, I'm gonna play this outro, but everybody, hang on, don't disconnect yet. I want to tell you something first before we get out of here. All right. So with that, everyone else, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.